All right, we're going to get this game started pretty soon, guys. It's going to be IMTrue versus WhiteRa. Your enemy, WhiteRa, is IMTrue. It is a Zerg player.
Yeah, IMTrue is actually one of the newer Zerg players that IM actually has recruited. I don't actually think that they have actually shown him play in any of the team leagues yet. So it will be interesting to see how one of their Zerg players fare. Apparently he is currently at Terran though, when I look at his picks on the map. And I mean, our first map is going to be GSL Tal'Darim Alta.
Yep, that's right. Tal'Darim Alta, it's a pretty big map. Some Zergs against Protoss are feeling a little bit sort of hesitant about big maps since once Protoss is given the chance to macro, it's pretty tough for Zerg players to break them right now. I actually don't know if I've ever seen IMTrue play, to be honest with you. I'm trying to remember if there was ever a chance. TT1 says he's good. Have you played him on ladder? He's played him on ladder. He says he's very good. All right. Have you seen him play, Kelly?
Who? True?
Yeah, True.
He has a very aggressive Zerg style. He likes to use speed banes a lot, and his counter attack is very strong. So, I mean, in a case where, since he's playing WhiteRa, in the case if WhiteRa actually attacks, before WhiteRa reaches his base, he might actually hate for WhiteRa's base and try to force WhiteRa to fall back. I mean, that's kind of the only way you could do it anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. He's going to have to be pretty aggressive early. But at the same time, True wouldn't have a whole lot of experience against this style of Protoss play, possibly, so we'll have to see if that impacts things or not. But it looks like we're going to get the game started fairly soon, not too much longer. I think WhiteRa is almost done getting his setup all ready to go. I'm pretty pumped about this. This is actually going to be extremely exciting. Don't you agree, Kelly?
Definitely. I'm actually just looking at IMTrue's profile right now, and
okay.
very weirdly, he hasn't played as much games as the other players in Korea. I mean, we have seen 160 games in 48 hours. Crazy.
Yeah, that's actually insane, and you can be sure, too, that these are not, like, cheesy short games, too. I mean, these guys do macro quite a bit as well. Looks like WhiteRa is ready. So we're going to get things started in just a moment. So we are almost ready as well. He's excited because this computer has the English client on it, so that's good. But Zergs can't launch nukes, so we're okay.
Something that the other computers does not have. But yeah, I mean, do you know, like, WhiteRa actually died to nuke because he couldn't hear the nuke because it was in Korean. So when your nuclear launcher detected and he got nuked, he was so angry. It was so funny.
That poor guy. Oh, I love you too, Maro. I just saw that in the chat. Yeah, I felt so bad for him because, yeah, he just lost all his workers at least 2 bases to nukes because he didn't know the Korean, sound for nukes. I don't either, though. I would get nuked all the time so easy. But looks like WhiteRa is in the booth. He's ready to go. There's the booth. We're going to close the door on him soon so that he is sealed in and silent. And we're about ready to go. We are ready. I think WhiteRa is ready. And we're going to get this show match started. It is going to be House versus House, the GOM TV Foreigner House, that is, versus Incredible Miracle. I, of course, am Doa. With me is Kelly. We're probably going to get Torch to get in here and cast a little bit as well. But either way, we are so happy to do this for you guys tonight. This, of course, is brought to you by CSN, Justin TV. The countdown has begun, and I believe I am actually observing. So I'm going to switch the computer over to observe as Torch shuts WhiteRa into the soundproof booth. And we're going to get this going. All right.
So the first match, very epic. It is going to be a Zerg versus Protoss, the most controversial matchup in the world. Everybody is saying, oh, ZVP, ZVP. So we're going to see how top players in Korea do it.
That's right. And apparently I'm going to have to be a little bit quieter. My microphone is peaking, but it's going to be hard to not shout. I'm sorry. Sorry, Torch. I may have to shout. But we are getting this game going here. It is going to be a pause first before we do anything else, which is fine. That happens.
WhiteRa already showing his Protoss power by asking for a pause.
That's right. He's force-fielded the entire game right now, and IMTrue can't do anything. There we go. So the game has been going already, and it looks like we've got IMTrue spawning as the purple. Uh-oh, Yoda. Yoda causing lag, he is, and getting out. So we've got IMTrue spawning as our purple Zerg player down at the bottom left position on Tal'Darim Altar. His opponent is going to be none other than Duckload Ra, otherwise known as WhiteRa, spawning as our red Protoss player. So cross positions on Tal'Darim Altar, about as far away from each other as you could possibly be. What sort of openings do you think we're going to see from the Zerg player, since you yourself are a Zerg player, Kelly?
Well, True might just go for the standard opening against Protoss, which is a 14 gas, 14 pull. And after that, when he gets 100 gas, he would pull his drones off gas, get speedling, and expand. Try to prevent WhiteRa from expanding as long as he can, and defending his expansion at the same time with purely speedlings for the first few minutes.
Right, he definitely wants to stay pretty safe. I wouldn't be surprised at all to have him get that fast gas, exactly like you said. Yoda's talking as a spectator. We have no idea what he's saying. We notice WhiteRa already sending out some scouts, too. So on this map, we do see a lot of players starting to do that double scout right away, just so they can find their opponent that much earlier. We can see IMTrue sending out his Overlord as well. Not quite sending a scout out. Normally, Zerg players don't scout quite that early. Looks like WhiteRa went out right after his first pylon, and this pylon placement would suggest some sort of fast expand build. Wouldn't be surprised if he did decide to go forge fast expand. That seems like a very safe thing to do on this map. Meantime, back at the base of IMTrue, we do have the spawning pool on the way, and WhiteRa immediately going after that with the probe. But if WhiteRa does go forge first, I feel like IMTrue might be able to punish that. What's up?
He's getting 15 Nexus. I mean, he feels confident in defending it. In defending this, it's actually pretty risky because True did not expand. So it would actually be harder for WhiteRa to expand. And at the same time, if I look at WhiteRa's screen, he actually hasn't... I mean, he scouted that there was no fast expansion. But I'm not sure why he actually chose for 15 expand, because that would be very risky if True decides to go for some all-in speedling build. Unless WhiteRa really covers up the front of his base, which he's doing right now, and get maybe 2 cannons.
That's right. So we've got a forge and a gateway down at the base of WhiteRa. Probably going to see possibly another... I was going to say forge, but not a forge. Possibly another cannon added on here, or a pylon. There's the first cannon for WhiteRa. Possibly another gateway as well. You can. I believe it's one more gateway, and then you've got that little space there to block it off with a zealot. But honestly, I'm not terribly familiar with walling off his Protoss on this map yet. Alright, so it looks like he is going to be doing a pylon, and I think right here is where you can fit the zealot then. Meantime, it looks like we do have some speedlings chasing the scouting probe for, for WhiteRa.
Well, he stole some minerals from them, so he deserves to get punished. He's going to come to the front of... He's going to come into the front of WhiteRa's base and see that, there's a cannon up. So I think the next course of action after he's expanding would be actually to get either roaches. Or alternatively, we have seen a lot of Hydra drops in Tal'Darim Altar when I'm looking at players playing in-house in Korea, because they don't want to bother getting through the front of the base, because there's going to be stalkers and sentries behind that wall later on, and it's very hard for them to break through. Another alternative would actually to get a second expansion as well.
Yep, now WhiteRa does have 2 gas as well right now. Oh, it looks like IMTrue able to actually sneak into the base of WhiteRa. He's going to see everything that WhiteRa has so far. He will see the 2 gases, maybe even get a probe killer too if he's lucky. Trying to go after some of those, but WhiteRa is ready to defend with some nice micro from those probes. But really too bad that IMTrue got in and saw that.
Well, WhiteRa actually kind of overextending himself and pulling too many probes to try to take down these 3 speedlings. And since his Stalker is up, these speedlings are not going to last long in the base. In the meantime, you can see an Overlord is just at the front of WhiteRa's base, and not sure why he's there. It's completely the wrong way to be. What do you? I mean, I'm looking actually at a Stargate next being put down. What do you think about that?
Stargate at WhiteRa's base? Maybe I'm missing it.
I mean, I'm looking at that to be the next building.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that would actually be a really good idea. In fact, that's what we've seen a lot of Protoss players do on this map so far. He is getting that +1 ground upgrade as well, which is pretty common. You get some Phoenixes out to do some harassment, get a couple Void Rays, and then also have a pretty quick +1 for your ground army as well. So I think you're right. That's probably what we're going to see here. Now, at the same time, WhiteRa is the type of player, too, that seems to really favor Robo more than anything. We don't see him go air a whole lot. So it kind of depends. One thing we do see him put up, actually, where is it? He actually just put up 3 gates and a Twilight Council as well. So we might even see DTs here. I don't think he's going to be fast-teching to High Templar or anything like that. And it's a little bit early for him to be worrying about those Tier 2 upgrades. So I'm kind of thinking DTs. Now at the same time... Oh, sorry.
The doorbell. So you see, the second expansion is coming up for True. So what he's going to do is he can either put heavy pressure on WhiteRa and not let him move out of his base while he actually macros up. Because if you look at WhiteRa's screen right now, he doesn't have that Robo Bay up, which means he doesn't have any observers at all. 2 more gates coming up for WhiteRa, and we might actually see, well, because he's not going for Robo Bay or any tag at all, so we might actually see like a Blink Stalker.
Oh yeah,
it is going to be Stalker timing attack.
Yep, it is going to be Blink Stalkers. I was so excited about the prospect of Dark Templars that I completely forgot that there are Stalkers in the game. But there certainly are, and WhiteRa is probably going to be getting quite a few of them coming. And that's actually a good strategy to go on that map. Again, Tal'Darim Ultra, a huge map, a lot of ground to cover. Stalkers can cover it very, very quickly. Blink is extremely, extremely good against Zerg these days. So yeah, I think Blink Stalkers will do quite well. Now, meanwhile, at the base of IMTrue, he is getting a +1 for his missile attacks right away. He's working on Roach speed as well. So he's going to be going a heavy Roach composition, which is what a lot of Zerg players are doing against Protoss right now as well. The only thing in that is straight up fight between Roaches and Stalkers with Blink. It's pretty tough for the Roach army to win. You really need to add a lot of Speedlings onto that as well to do damage to the Stalkers even after blinking away. So I'm really curious to see how IMTrue is going to handle this.
Well, the thing is, you see, when IMTrue actually suicided his Overlord, of course he has an Overseer on the way, but when he suicided the Overlord, he didn't see the other 5 gates, which he's going to see right now with his Overseer, and he's going to see that WhiteRa would most probably be getting Blink. He's going to be ready for that, and at the same time, I was gonna say he should start getting Burrow, and he's getting Burrow right now. Right now, WhiteRa is playing too defensive, so he's going to push out right now. Otherwise, True would be able to get another expansion up without any pressure at all, which is very bad, of course. And here comes the first Blink. I'm showing his Blink right now. What do you think about this engagement that is going to come up?
I think WhiteRa is going to need to make a run for it, because that's a lot of Roaches. Here comes IMTrue, a lot of Speedlings, a lot of Roaches. This is exactly how you want to handle Blink Stalkers, and sure enough, WhiteRa needing to pull back immediately, not able to do any damage at all, and WhiteRa only just now starting up his Robo Bay. It's somewhere at his base. We're not going to take a look at it because there might be action here in the near future, but he's going to need that Observer because IMTrue is indeed going Burrow, and Burrowed Roaches do extremely well popping up in the middle of those Blink Stalkers. We'll have to see if he can make that work. Here comes WhiteRa again going after the third base, but again, IMTrue is ready with the Roaches and Speedlings, so right now, IMTrue looking pretty good.
Well, do remember that WhiteRa actually has +2 for his Stalkers, and only now is True getting +2. So +3 is really on the way for WhiteRa, which means if he actually waits for, if he waits for his +3 to be out, he can do some mega push. At the same time, he can actually just put the pressure up, but it looks like True does not want him to do that. So many Speedlings, and of course everyone knows that Speedlings are the perfect counter to pure Stalker's army, because there's nothing to tank the surround and the damage that the Speedlings is going to do.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. You need sentries to be able to keep the links from hitting the stalkers. WhiteRa on the run right now. So many speed links from IMTrue. He does have a good amount of roaches as well. More reinforcements coming in from WhiteRa, blinking up to the high ground to try to save those stalkers. He is doing some good damage to the army of IMTrue, but it's just not going to be enough. WhiteRa forced to pull back a little bit, and IMTrue, meanwhile, back at his base, he does have the Hydralisk Den on the way. The range has already been finished. +2 for the missile attacks is going. So IMTrue's going to have a pretty high DPS army. Here he is poking in at the third. WhiteRa blinking in with the stalkers. There's the burrow, and he's going to need to wait for that first observer.
Well, here he comes. He can actually not nuke that down, but you know, IMTrue has been ahead in economy for so long. If you have a look at the economy tab, IMTrue has been running on 2,200 mining, while WhiteRa was running on 1,400 for like about, what, 5 minutes? And +3 is almost up for WhiteRa, so it is almost now or never that he must push. Otherwise, IMTrue would actually catch up in upgrades, and his is kind of a timing attack. Now he wants to transit to Colossus, but I'm not sure if that's the best thing to do, because his economy is so far behind. And you know, this aggression coming from True right now might actually end WhiteRa's life.
Yeah, it certainly could. He's pushing across with Hydralisks. Of course, those are going to take quite a while to get there, but once they do, WhiteRa is going to be in serious trouble. A lot of those stalkers have taken a little bit of damage right now as well. Colossi are not going to be out in time. It's going to be close.
Hydras do so well against gateway units. They melt gateway units so hard, so WhiteRa stalkers might just be lost completely. The moment the Hydras is gonna come and hit his face, which is about now.
Here we go, 200 supply to the 135 of WhiteRa. WhiteRa way behind right now. He's going to try to defend with the Stalkers. The first Colossus is out. Burrow is not going to be helpful for IMTrue because of the Observer there as well, but he's got so many Hydralisks, and they do have +2 attack. That's a ton of DPS. Trying to focus down this Colossus. It does get about halfway down, but WhiteRa may actually hold this. It looks like he will. The second Colossus shows up. All the roaches are dead. The Hydra is being melted by the Colossi. Here comes the round of Speedlings. Is it going to be enough, though, getting a nice surround on those Colossi? The Speedlings are at 0-0. No upgrades quite yet. It looks like IMTrue may actually have enough.
Oh, there you go. That's just it. I think the problem with WhiteRa's build was that his unit composition was kind of wrong. Because if he actually wanted to go blink Stalkers, he should have gone earlier, especially when he sees that True was up one expansion from him for so long. Here come more Speedlings though, and I don't think WhiteRa would actually be able to hold this because Speedlings are doing so well against the Colossus right now, getting a surround around them.
Yeah.
So I guess this is pretty much game for WhiteRa over there.
I think it's going to be very, very difficult, although the Colossi doing so much damage with +3 to attack and +1 to armor that those unupgraded Speedlings just weren't able to do the job. The upgrades really coming through for WhiteRa right now, and he's barely holding on, though. Still 150 supply to just 111 for WhiteRa. IMTrue is on 4 bases right now, though he's not really mining out of the 4th yet. I think he's just basically trying to kill WhiteRa right now. Trying to say WhiteRa right now is pretty difficult to say, but I think he may just decide to pull back and just sort of kind of chill out for a minute, let his economy blossom a little bit more, because right now IMTrue is so far ahead that he really can just kind of sit back and play it safe and then roll in for the kill a little bit later.
Well, he has so much money in his bank right now, and he already has Corruptors out. Now he's getting Roaches, which is the right thing to do since Corruptors are up, and Corruptors and Roaches are going to do perfect against Stalkers and Colossus, and right now, WhiteRa just doesn't have enough army, and he was so far behind the whole game. It's very hard for me to see him come back from this, and he doesn't have any sentries at all, which means he actually cannot cut True's army into half, which is what he needs to do, because True's army is way bigger than his.
Yeah, IMTrue is maxed again, 200 supply to the 148 of WhiteRa. Is going to try to come in the front this time. There's a lot of Colossi right there, though. Those Roaches trying to bust in and get the surround. Corruptors doing some damage to the Colossi as well. Only 1 attack upgrade on those Corruptors right now. Is IMTrue going to have enough? A bunch of Colossi going down. Only 1 left right now, and I think IMTrue is going to have enough. This may be the push that ends it.
Well, you see, True has so much economy that he can just purely throw army towards WhiteRa right now. He has 4 bases, and I mean, he can just basically, like I said, throw armies at him. And WhiteRa actually is stocking up a lot of money. He has no gas at all, has about 1,000 minerals in his bank. Could actually put that into getting Zealots to try to tank some damage. But it's kind of too late because he needed Zealots when there was Hydras, and now it's purely Roaches, and Roaches do so well against Zealots. So I'm not sure how he's going to try to catch up with this unique composition that IMTrue has. I mean, basically True is winning because he has a way stronger economy than him.
Yeah, WhiteRa's kind of trying to add on some more gateways, trying to get some more Zealots out, but it's just not going to be enough. The macro of IMTrue definitely overdoing the macro of WhiteRa for this game, but we're going to have to see. Here comes another push from IMTrue. It's going to miss that base that WhiteRa has here. Oh no, he does see it now. So WhiteRa's going to need to cancel that immediately. It does buy him a little bit of time, but I think he's going to need more than time to win this game.
I think now another wave is coming in, and True doesn't seem to be very careful with his play, because since he has managed to contain WhiteRa, he should have actually tried to expand some more, and his attacks were failing even though he should have won them. Here comes some Roaches, and you know, these Corruptors are just getting full range on the Colossus, and WhiteRa does lose them. More Roaches streaming in, and they're almost getting a full surround on the Stalkers. Stalkers do blink back right now. Not sure if he's able to catch them. What do you think about this, Doa? I mean, do you think WhiteRa can actually hold this?
I think he may be able to, but I kind of doubt it. Either way, IMTrue is taking more bases right now, so even if this attack does fail, WhiteRa is basically out of resources. So it's kind of getting to be the point where it's going to be pretty tough to come back as well, though WhiteRa, as he does clean this up, is trying to expand again to this 12 o'clock position base, putting down a couple pylons right away to be able to warp in units. But it looks like IMTrue does have wind of it again. Oh, trying to run around the top. He probably doesn't know that you can't go through there. A lot of players aren't terribly familiar with this map yet. But this attack from IMTrue, we're going to have to see if he can do it. WhiteRa's starting to close the gap a little bit.
Absolutely. I mean, it's amazing that WhiteRa actually won almost by micro, as you could see when he got a first attack to Roaches earlier.
Those probes are so brave. Trying to transfer.
So you get WhiteRa's micro. I mean, he's almost like just blinking every single Stalker that is on low health behind. And these Roaches and Hydras are going to come into the third extension of WhiteRa right now, and he might actually lose this because he doesn't have enough units to defend this. Hopefully he does get more units, and Colossus at the moment is just not an option for WhiteRa at all.
That's right, he needs the resources on gateway units. Pretty much only that micro keeping those Stalkers alive for so long, but it's just not going to be enough. The second pylon goes down, WhiteRa not able to reinforce his expansion, and as this expansion dies, I think this might be it. I know I've said it a couple times already, but I really mean it this time.
I mean, WhiteRa is...
Find out, though.
WhiteRa is running below 100 foot at the moment, and IMTrue has an army that is, I mean, obviously way bigger than him, and the unit composition-wise, WhiteRa was kind of behind the whole game.
Yeah, pretty much. Here comes the probably the final push from IMTrue. Speedlings coming in, trying to surround that Colossus. Again, they're going to be taken out, but there are a lot of Hydras as well as some Infestors doing some fungal growth damage to those Stalkers. Again, it does do plus 30% to Armored right now. And as the last Stalker dies, there's the GG. IMTrue taking game one in this house versus house battle. Incredible Miracle versus the Foreigner House.
That was a pretty good game, but I kind of wish that WhiteRa, with his +2, the moment he had his +2, he should have actually went and tried to damage the Zerg. But he kind of didn't do that. He sat back a little bit, tried to wait for his +3, and by then, the Zerg just had so much of a bigger economy than him. And it was very hard for him to come back after that.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you still hear me okay, Kelly? Nope.
Alright, guys. We're back. We're going to do a little bit of a recap of that game. Kelly, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So, that game, it seemed like WhiteRa kind of got behind early, and the effect just kind of snowballed. IMTrue was able to defend that first push with the Blink Stalkers, and from there it was kind of all downhill.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Well, I not sure if you actually heard what I said earlier
Oh,
about
I
his
was switching
+2.
microphones. Sorry.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay, so was his +2 stalker push? His army wasn't big enough, and I mean, the moment that True saw that, he just went for almost like a pure speedling army just to counter WhiteRa. Even though he had Blink, stalkers do have such a huge mobility, and he forced WhiteRa back to his base. So it was pretty hard for WhiteRa to come back the moment that his first attack failed. But it was really impressive the way he microed. You could see like how high his micro was by microing his stalkers so well. He was down maybe 60 foot almost the whole game, the whole mid game, but he managed to hold off so many waves of attack from True. So WhiteRa is still a very awesome player.
Well, any other player would have just been dead against that, but WhiteRa was really able to make a go at possibly even coming back there for just a couple seconds. He did get that fourth base up and running again, just for a short time, but it didn't quite work out. But yeah, he did as best as he could, I guess, in the situation. I don't think he was expecting the